What is the difference between Aristotle's and Newton's approach to dynamics? Aristotle was a Greek philosopher and polymath during the classical period in ancient Greece. He was the first person to develop a systematic set of ideas about the physical world. Related to his concept of force is his classification of motion as natural, voluntary, and forced. He believed that an object's velocity is directly proportional to the applied force on that object. This is represented by the equation force equals mass times velocity. Contrary, Newton believed that an object's acceleration is proportional to the applied force. This results in the equation force is equal to mass times acceleration. It states that an applied force causes an acceleration of the object, which in turn changes its state of motion. So going back to Aristotle's postulate where he said force is equal to mv, this is stating that if a constant force is applied, then we get a velocity. But if our force is 0, and we know that mass is always constant, it's always a number, then that must mean that velocity is also 0. So once there's no force, there's no velocity. He's basically stating that a force must always be applied to an object to make it continually move. Whereas Newton was talking about force and acceleration. So even if there's 0 force, that only means that there's 0 acceleration. Hence, an object that's already moving with a constant velocity can have a 0 acceleration, but still has a velocity. Whereas if he said that an object at rest also has 0 velocity and 0 acceleration. So it works in both cases. It can be either an object is still or it's with constant velocity. You can't actually determine. So which is correct? Which one of these ideas? Apart from modern physics proving that Newton's fundamental observations and experiments were indeed accurate, we can use a real-world problem to demonstrate. Consider kicking a soccer ball on a grass oval. Assume that the surface is frictionless. With reference to Aristotle's idea of force, the ball would only move when a force is applied. Since the kick, the applied force, is sustained for a short period of time at the beginning, Aristotle believed the ball would come to rest immediately upon the foot separating from the ball. However, we know from experience that a ball will continue to roll after the force is removed. When you kick a soccer ball, it doesn't just immediately stop, it will continue rolling. Newton's second law, force equals ma, states that a force causes an acceleration. Hence, the ball changes from rest to some unknown velocity. Even after this force is removed, the ball continues at this velocity until another force is applied to change its state of motion. And since we have a frictionless surface, once this ball has an applied force given to it, it will accelerate to some velocity, and it will continue on that velocity until another force is applied against it. Because it's frictionless, there's going to be no force acted upon by the ground, and it will continue rolling practically forever until some other force is applied, which causes an acceleration which will change its state of motion. So yeah, Newton applies to all cases and not just what Aristotle's observations were. Newton experimentally proved his thoughts. Thank you.